family. Morgan here. I'm going to share a miracle in the mayhem. Yay. So most of the thoughts and the scripture I'm going to share is actually from a book I'm reading called Carrying Beyond the Margins, What Every Christian Needs to Know About Homosexuality. It's been a great read. And I'm going to share from a chapter I've been reading and a story that's just moved my heart. So in this chapter, Hammond comments on the bedside manner of Christ, which for me as a nurse is just really relevant, and developing my own bedside manner. And so I've been able to take a little bit of a closer look at Jesus as our gentle healer. The passage, Mark 7:31 through 37 reads, Then he returned from the region of Tyre and went through Sidon to the Sea of Galilee in the region of the Decapolis. And they brought to him a man who was deaf and had a speech impediment, and they begged him to lay his hand on him. And taking him aside from the crowd privately, he put his fingers into his ears, and after spitting, touched his tongue. And looking up to heaven, he sighed and said to him, that is, be opened. And his ears were opened, his tongue was released, and he spoke plainly. And Jesus charged them to tell no one. But the more he charged them, the more zealously they proclaimed it. And they were astonished beyond measure, saying, He has done all things well. He even makes the deaf hear and the mute speak. So to me, I'm amazed that Jesus can physiologically fix this man's ability to hear and to speak. But honestly, my heart is even more moved by the miracle of Jesus' abundant compassion. His abundant compassion and unconditional compassion to me stands out as just the really big miracle here. The book explores how the experience of deaf people, and they can feel like they can have no relaxation in society, entirely alone, afraid, confused, suspicious, and embarrassed. I can relate to a lot of these things right now with just everything that's going on, feeling uncertain, confused, even suspicious, honestly. I can't relate to the deaf experience, but at least in this time, I feel like these are words and feelings that we kind of all feel on some level. And it's kind of eye-opening to think about this is the experience of some people all the time. And, how we feel right now, or how I feel right now, is what some people feel 24/7. Anyways, but it is miraculous to me that Jesus can understand them, and understand them perfectly, because he also felt that way. It's amazing to me how Jesus shows compassion by taking the man aside. He takes him away from the crowd, and I think just a huge miracle for this man would be if he could never relax in a crowd, he could never relax in society. Just imagine how he was feeling to be taken aside, physical healing aside, just to be with Jesus, be able to drop his shoulders, release his worry, and just exist safely with Jesus. That to me is just feels miraculous already. Hammond says Jesus wanted to calm his fears and let him know that he was there to help and not to hurt. I think there's another way Jesus shows compassion. I'm just going to read you a quote from the book because I think he says it way better than I could. He says, the ancient world had a curious belief in the healing powers of saliva. Jesus, of course, knew that spit had no healing properties, but because the deaf man believed that it did, the Lord, in his gentle and thoughtful way, administered an ancient form of healing so that the man knew that Jesus was there to heal him and would not harm him. And just another way, Jesus goes out of his way to abundantly show compassion, not with any resent, not with holding back at all, but he just wants to pour it out to that man. He wants to pour it out to us in this mayhem of a time. And so I was just really moved by the miracle of how Jesus can relate to us. Jesus can take us aside, help us feel at ease in this time, just by understanding us. And he goes out of his way to help us to know that he wants to help us through this time. He doesn't want to hurt us. I think, Jesus, he wants to help, but I think he's less consumed with, like fixing and just more, he just cares so much about wanting us to know, like, I'm with you right now. I understand how you feel frail or vulnerable, and I want to be there for you. So I really was just moved by that about Jesus, about this miraculous story. And yeah, stay safe, wash your hands, stay inside from a nurse. But I really am so impressed by how the church is already doing that and showing compassion to one another. So love you guys. Yeah, bye.